Hi there, I'm Caroline Close and welcome to today's class. Today we are going to do a 30-minute mat Pilates flow. All you're going to need is your mat. I've decided to film today's class outside in my garden because it's such a beautiful afternoon. So when you're ready, let's make a start. Coming down onto your mat, we're going to begin in a 4-point kneel. So setting up, making sure your shoulders are above your elbows and your elbows are above your wrists, and just soften your elbows a little bit, bring your knees under your hips, relax your feet. And then I want you to think about the movement of your shoulder blades. Can you let yourself kind of sink down in that area, let your chest come down towards the mat, and then on an inhale we're going to press and get broad across the shoulder blades, so lifting the sternum up and away. So the movement is just happening around the shoulder blades. We're not necessarily bending the arms. And we're just trying to get a gliding action of the scapula. Just starting to mobilise the area. A really great visualisation for this movement is to imagine that you've got a candle under your chest. And as you push up and away, you're getting away from the flame on that candle. Just taking some full breaths with this movement, preparing the body for the rest of the sequence. So let's do 3 more of these scapular glides, sinking the chest down, broadening the shoulder blades as you press the chest up and away. And last one. And then press the chest up and away and kind of hold that position. So now shift your focus to the pelvis. Tucking the tailbone under, you're going to lift your abdominal wall up towards your spine, gently rounding your lower back. And then you're going to release the tuck of the pelvis. So it's a small movement. We're trying not to round into the shoulders. Try to isolate that movement just at the lower back, creating some space in those vertebrae as you draw your pubic bone up and under towards your rib cage. You might like to add a look in with the eyes and then just come back to looking straight down to the mat as you release the tuck of the pelvis. But just keep going with that. With the breath, think of an exhale as you draw the tailbone under, and a breath in as you release the pelvic tilt. Try and keep that sensation through the chest of being pressed up and away from the mat. Lifting the waist up towards the ceiling or the sky, if you're outside like me. And 2. And last one. And then we're going to push back, just coming into a rest pose for a moment. Give the wrists a little bit of a break. Stretch the arms out, rest the forehead. You can take the knees wider if that feels more comfortable for your hips. Fill in the lungs. Exhale, sink the pelvis heavy towards your mat. And then let's reset in our 4-point kneel again. So now let's think about moving the pelvis sideways. So I'm going to shift my hips, or the side of my pelvis, towards you. And what I'm doing is it's like I'm wagging my tailbone. And now I'm going to the other side. So a little cinching action here between the pelvis and the rib cage. You're just making that space shorter. Still pressing the chest up and away from the mat. Just keeping the neck in a relaxed, neutral position. And just see if you can get that wagging action with the lower back and the pelvis and the tailbone. Keep it in a range that feels comfortable for your body. So it might be a very small wag of the tail, and that's all good. Just gently mobilizing that lower back area. And I've Notice when I'm doing it, I have to turn my head kind of the way that my pelvis is going. Not sure what that is about, but if you're doing it too, kind of makes sense to me. Okay, so we'll go one more each way. And then we are going to go into a thread the needle, or a version of thread the needle. So I'm going to get you to reach under. You can bend that supporting arm if you need to, and then you're going to reach up, rotating the spine the other way. Soften, reach under, looking where your arm goes, and then reaching up. And then press under, rotate the spine, push up, rotate the other way. Reach and rotate. And inhale and exhale, reach. Opening out across the front of the shoulder as you reach up and out to the side. Let's do one more this way. And open. Let's switch that over. So this time I'm going to come towards you as I reach under, softening that elbow again if you need to get more reach. So again, you can keep this movement in a range that feels good for your shoulders, your spine. Inhale. Exhale. Reaching under, rotating up. Two more. Last one. And then again, let's press the hips back. This time I'm going to take my knees a little bit wider. Opening out through the hips. And I'm just giving the wrists a little bit of a reprieve. Again, with each exhale, allow the pelvis and the sternum to sink down towards your mat. And then we are going to come up one more time in our 4-point kneel for our last movement here. So again, getting that little press away with the chest, we're going to come into our cat stretch. So tucking the pelvis under, round from the lower back. Try not to round into the shoulders too much. Then beam the heart forward. Pull from the crown of the head, get longer here. Okay, with a bit more flow. Exhale, we tuck the tailbone round the lower back. Inhale, scapula down as we beam the heart forward. Let's keep it going. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, tuck under. Inhale, reach. Try not to overarch the lower back too much. Think more about extension today in your upper spine. Can you get that sense of growing longer, pulling upwards and forwards there? Really feel how active the area around your shoulder blades is when you do that movement. And then on the tuck here, that lifting up of the abdominal wall towards your spine. Pulling the tailbone under. 4 more repetitions. Inhale, exhale. Exhale, contract, lift away. And hold. And exhale. Inhale, extend. One more. Exhale, tuck. Heart goes forward, shoulder blades down, collarbones wide. We're going to relax that extension, tuck our toes under, lift the hips up, and let's press up into our up stretch position. Now here, if you're feeling tight through the back of the legs and you can't get your heels down onto the mat, don't worry about that. You can really bend the knees if necessary or shift your weight slightly forward. Just go to where you feel the stretch. Keep lifting the pelvis up and back. Press your weight into it. Let's walk the feet a little. Stretching out the calves, stretching out the back of the heels. Keep the breath flowing. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then let's bring ourselves down seating on the mat so that we can come down to laying down on our spine. So get yourself comfortable. Have a little bit of space at your lower back. I'm just making sure I'm centered here on my rather long platform. This is out of my studio. I use this with my tower. Kind of works really well when I'm working on the grass. Okay, so let's start off with our pelvic curls. So finding that tuck of the pelvis, bringing the pubic bone towards you. Let's start to peel our spine away, sensing each part of our spine as we reach out the knees at the top, and then exhale, soften your chest, soften across your throat, and then imprint the spine down into your mat. Releasing the tuck of the pelvis at the very end. And then finding it again, tucking under, pressing through the feet, active through the backs of the legs as you lift. Take that breath and hold at the top. Exhale, let's bring it back down, one vertebra at a time, melting into the mat. And again, keep this going, moving at your own pace. Getting your maximum lift at the top without flaring the ribs or arching the back. And trying to keep your gaze slightly forward. I've got my eyes closed. I just like closing my eyes when I do pelvic curls. It just helps me bring that awareness deeper into my body. Also, it's rather bright out here. I should have sunglasses on. And we're going to roll down. So a little variation for you on the next one. If it's feeling like a good idea and it feels good for your shoulders, let's take the arms up and overhead. And then reach out of the fingertips, reach out of the knees in opposition. If you've got the mobility, leave your arms behind as you start to roll down through the spine. If that feels too much on your shoulders, just bring the arms forward as the spine comes down. And then exhale, roll it back up. Reach out of the knees at the top, reach out of the fingertips. Imagine you're trying to create a diagonal line there. And then exhale, leave the arms behind if it's comfortable. Sense that space between the shoulder blades. Try to imprint it into the mat. The spine just got a little longer. Let's go one more time. Up into our curl. Keep the eye line forward. Taking a breath in at the top. And then exhale. One vertebra at a time. Imprinting into the mat. Releasing back to that neutral at the bottom. And then once we've found that neutral, making sure the back of the neck is nice and lengthened, let's float our arms to just above our shoulders, palms are facing forward. So we're going to find our tabletop, trying to keep everything nice and still in our setup. Remember, our setup is also part of the exercise. Okay, ready to go into our 100 prep. Curling the head and chest as we reach the arms long. And then lowering it all back down. Now you can keep the head down by all means in this movement, if that's more agreeable for you. But if you're lifting the head, try and make that the first thing that moves as you start to come forward with the arms. The head is already nodded, and then we reach. And then we roll down, chin to chest. 2 more of these 100 prep movements. Getting a little windy out here. Okay, we're going to hold it up here. Can you guess where this is going? Find your 100 position, wherever it is. Let's go for it. Pumping the arms, finding that percussive rhythm. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep your head centered above your chest if you are curled up, and keep the rhythm of the arms going. Exhale, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep pulling the belly button to the spine. Exhale, 3, 4, 5. 2 more sets. 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hug the knees in. Well done. Let the head rest down. Let's make some small circles with the knees. Just give the lower back a little bit of a massage into the mat. And then we are going to hold behind one leg, rock and roll up to a seated position. Moving in to roll like a ball. So you've got a couple of options here. This movement is new to you. I would hold behind your thighs and just really keep yourself as much in the shape of a ball as possible. You want to have your eyes looking in. If you're familiar with this movement, maybe you will do it with the hands on the shins and you can start in a hover. But let's aim for 10 repetitions, whatever version you're doing. I'm just going to aim to stay on my platform. Roll like a ball is quite hard for me because I have scoliosis of the spine, so I don't always roll quite where I expect to. But anyway, I'm going to come with you guys. Let's give it a shot. Eyes in. We're going to go back on an inhale. Exhale, we'll come up, finding our balance. Not quite on that first one, but there we go. We're looking to try and get a little bit more improvement with each one. Work in progress. 4. Inhale back. Exhale up. Find the right amount of momentum you need. Keep everything tight and ball-like as much as possible. 6. I'm still on the platform. Hooray! 7. Are you still on your mat? 8. Inhale back. Exhale up. This is our last one. We're going to come to a hover if we can. Okay, find the balance. I'm right at the top end of my mat. I've kind of gravitated forward, which is pretty funny. Support the legs in a tabletop if that's available to you. I'm just going to scoot back. I want to make sure I'm still in frame. And then if it feels like you can you extend the legs? Lift up from the back. Use that to get a lovely extension through the spine. You can separate the feet. And let's keep breathing. High on the sitting bones. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it back in. Bend the knees. Let's turn towards me. And we're going to set up laying down on your side, just resting on your elbow. And we're going to move into some clams. So working the hips, stack the pelvis evenly, one hip right on top of the other, and then bring your heels back so they're in line with your bottom. You don't want them too far forward. You're going to anchor the toes of your bottom foot, hands somewhere for support, maybe on the hips to sense what's happening there. And then we're going to start to spiral the top leg out and in, opening through the hip and then spiraling inwards. So the objective here is to isolate that movement of the thigh bone and keep the pelvis still and feel the work through the hip, through the glutes. Keep breathing. Inhale as we open. Exhale as you spiral that leg bone in. Visualize what's happening. Leg bone turning out in the hip socket and turning in. 3 more here. And 2. And last one, opening and closing. So before we go to the other side, let's turn onto our back again and do a figure 4 stretch for that hip. So cross the foot over your thigh. Now you might just want to stay here and add a gentle press into that knee. That might feel like enough stretch for you. But if you need a little bit more, let's thread the hands through, grab onto that bottom leg and pulling closer. So rather than rounding the spine there here, just check out trying to drop your tailbone down into your mat even though you're pulling onto that leg. Should really provide a lovely stretch into the bottom of the glutes and the top of the hamstrings. And breathe. Always with our stretches, don't forget to keep the breath flowing. You don't want to hold tension in the body. Nice to feel the breeze being inside. Okay folks, ready to do it on the other side. Rock and roll up. Spin it around. Stay facing me. And then let's set up on our elbow. Bring the heels in line with your bottom. And again, anchor that bottom foot into your mat. And when you're ready, let's start to spiral that top thigh out and in. Make sure your pelvis is evenly stacked. And we're trying to keep it as still as possible as that leg bone turns out and in. Hands somewhere for support or feedback. Inhale as we open, exhale as we close. Spiraling out, spiraling in. Open and close. We've got 3 more on this side. Had a few little barks going on in the neighbourhood. I'm hoping they don't all start. I tried to pick the right time. If they do, I apologise in advance. Last one here. Okay, let's turn over. Let's enjoy that figure 4 stretch for the other hip and glute. Again, find the position that works best for you, either feet down, or foot down I should say, or threading through, lifting the legs, dropping the tailbone down into the mat. Relax the shoulders as well here. If you find that pulling the legs closer to you creates tension in the shoulders, let's go back to this. We want to keep the other areas of the body nice and relaxed so you can enjoy the stretch. It shouldn't be something that creates more tension in the body. Beautiful. So we have one more seated exercise. I'm going to use my rock and roll to come up this way. We're going to do spine stretch. So sitting in a V position with the feet, if you can, you're going to flex your feet. If you find that this position makes it hard for you to keep lifted up out of the lower back, roll the end of your mat up and stick it under your bottom. Or if you've got a yoga block or a foam roller, you could sit on that or just really bend your knees. Okay. So imagine you're sitting up against a wall behind your spine. You're going to have your arms reaching forward. We're going to start to round the spine, rather like when we do our roll down movement. And imagine you're going up and over something like a beach ball in front of your tummy. So once you've flexed and rounded your spine, I'm competing with a cockatoo there. Once you've flexed and rounded your spine as much as you can, you're going to hinge from the hips and get a little bit more extension. Now this is optional, so go with what feels best for your body. Then start to pull back from your lower back. Sense each vertebra coming back one on top of the other, reconnecting with that imaginary wall that is behind you. Finishing with the head. Okay, let's do that again. Flexing forward, so chin to chest, up and over. Feel like you pull the spine longer even though you're flexing. Over your imaginary ball and then extend, move from the hip, reach. You should be feeling hamstrings here and then round the spine. Lower, middle, upper. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Sometimes they have a tendency to hike up in this exercise. Let's take it up and over again. One vertebra at a time, lifting away. Pull the belly in, pull the waist back, and hinge. Get that extra stretch. Round the spine. Restack. Full breath. Exhale. Let's take it forward. Lifting up and over, pulling the waist in and back. Inhale, extend. Exhale, uncurl the spine, up and over. It's so lovely for the spine to extend here. I hope you're enjoying it too. And we have one more. Nice relaxed shoulders, long neck, gaze in the eyes, follow kind of the eyes, up and over. Now if you can come into this extension option here to reach the arms up, kind of think of ears next to biceps, so you're really pulling the tailbone down into your mat, reaching the arms up, a little bit of shoulder extension, and then let's relax that, flex over, and then start to pull from the lower belly, the waist, mid back, up our shoulders, neck and head, all the way to the top. Beautiful. Let's come onto our front, doing some back extensions here to finish. We're going to start with a basic back extension using the forearms down on your mat. Have your head down. I'm just going to keep my head up just for purposes of you hearing me. I want you to press your pubic bone down into the mat, so that lengthens your lower back. Feet can be together or apart. And then from here, you're going to really keep pressing your forearms and start to pull the crown of your head forward. Keep your forearms down. Feel how your shoulder blades are really drawing down your back, and it's almost like you're working in opposition. The arms are pulling back, the shoulder blades are pulling back, the sternum is pulling forward along with the crown of the head. Try to avoid this. So you want to really feel like it's the top of the head that gets or leads the extension. Let's back that down. And then with a bit more flow. Inhale, lead from the head. Press down through the forearms, draw the shoulder blades down, and get longer in that spine. That's our intention here. And again, inhale, broad collarbones. Heart is beaming forward, just like when we were doing our cat stretch at the beginning. Now if it's available to you and you want to come a little higher, allow the forearms to start peeling away from your mat. Up to you how far you go with that. If you're comfortable and can extend the arms fully, go for it. Still notice I'm not doing this, just leading it from my head. Now I'm going to come out the same way I got in. Forearms come down first. I'm still in back extension here. Now the lower ribs are connecting. Now the sternum. And then I'm going to finish with my head. So you can move a little bit quicker than me. I'm just slowing it down so that you can really see the sequence. The forearms come away last. I've still got that press of the pubic bone. I'm still trying to keep the lower back nice and long. And then forearms, ribs, sternum, forehead. And again, inhale, lead it from the head. Pull, pull, pull forward. Pull back with those arms. Reach in, extending, rising long, and down. 2 more here. Wonderful. We all need more back extension. I think the cockatoos agree with me. Pressing the forearms, lifting the heart, broad collarbones, purposeful gaze in this extension, and then let's lower it down, resting the forearms, and we are just going to have a bit of a stretch here. So bring one hand under your forehead, reach around and grab your foot if you can, and you're going to pull that heel in towards your bottom. Now at the same time, press your pubic bone down. That should increase the stretch that you're feeling in your thigh. And we're just going to take some breaths. Full breaths, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Keep pressing with the pubic bone, keep drawing the heel towards your bottom. Let's release that stretch on an exhale. Switch around, other hand supporting your forehead. Grab that foot. find the stretch? Can you make any little adjustments to make it feel better? Work with the breath. With each exhale, can you sink into the stretch a little more? Feel the body yield. Beautiful, guys. Okay, on the next exhale, we're going to release that foot, and we're just going to finish with a nice little glute back extension exercise. So let's keep the forehead resting down for this, and let's keep the feet apart, and I want you to turn your heels in slightly so that your legs are turned out, externally rotated. And then press the pubic bone down so you've got a slight tuck under of the pelvis. And then you are going to hover your feet just off the mat. So glutes are really squeezed, and then we are going to do a little beat with our heels. 3, 2, 1, reach. 3, 2, 1, reach. 3, 2, 1, reach. 3, 2, 1, reach. 3, 2, 1. So really squeeze your bottom, reach. 3, 2, 1, reach. 3, 2, 1, reach. Let's do one more set. Reach. Now keep it hovering. Can you lower the legs down and then lift back up? Forehead is still resting down, and think of squeezing up from the crease where your thigh meets your bottom. Really reaching out of the feet, the pubic bone still pressed down. Try not to create any tension in the lower back of this. Really squeeze the glutes, squeeze from the hamstrings. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. 5, 4, squeeze it up. 3, 2, and last one, lower down. Take a breather. We're going to finish with swimming. Okay, so now we are in a bit of back extension. You've got that floated collarbones. You're going to float the hands off, float the feet off. Let's work in opposites, finding a rhythm, drawing the energy from the crown of the head, reaching out into the toes. Still moving from that crease where the thigh and the bottom meet. Moving from the shoulders to the arms. Find your rhythm, find your breath. You might just do the arms only or the legs only if this is new to you. You might be moving super slow or way quicker than me, but that's all good. And let's keep this going. I'm just going to count down rather than saying repetitions. 10, 9, 8, keep swimming. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Soften it down. Well done. Press the hips back again. Opening the knees if that feels good. Rest your forehead down. Bring your arms into the most comfortable position. I like to finish here so that my shoulders can round forward and relax. And then just direct the breath into the back of the ribs. Imagine expanding there. And then as you breathe out, let the pelvis sink. Let the sternum sink. Let's take one more breath in this pose. And then we are going to slowly bring ourselves up to a seated position with the legs either crossed or soles of the feet together. It's getting windy out here. I'm so glad that my camera didn't fall over. Okay, let's just finish with a little bit of movement for the torso. We're just going to make a circle with the rib cage. So just inhale and exhale as you circle back. So circle forward towards me and back. Small circle. This is our wind down, quite literally, so I want to make it really big here. Keep the breath flowing. Inhale and exhale. Let's go the other way. Inhale as you come to the front. Exhale exhale as you take a big breath. Visualize that spiraling action. The last three, can you bring it in even smaller? Smaller. Visualize that spiral right around your spine. Tiny, tiny. Last one. And then taking a breath in. Collective breath. Exhale. And thank you very much for joining me. I do hope you've enjoyed this class, and I look forward to you joining me